Hello everybody. I want to talk a little bit about how you can work with a horse that is a little bit of a runaway, a little bit of a hot-tempered spirit perhaps, or a horse that is afraid of the leg aids. In general, what you want to do with horses like that is you want to keep your sessions short and sweet. And then also in the beginning especially, you want to introduce lots of curved lines and interrupting or breaking them up a little bit with straight lines and coming up with patterns that are repetitive and predictable so that the horse can start to slowly surrender into the process of, having to manage their own balance. And I think one of the ways to do that is to be super focused yourself on what pattern it is that you're riding so that you're not drifting off into sort of a space where you're constantly reacting to the horse, but rather than trying to fix and correct and make the horse slower, you're just going to say, I'm going to ride this pattern for a while and I don't really care what happens. I'm just going to try and stay regular in my rhythm, try to keep the horse and myself as relaxed within our positive tension mode as possible. And then the contact will come. The contact may in the beginning not be quite as perfect as you might like it, but just surrender to it. And in order to do that, to give yourself a little bit of some memory spots where you can remind yourself what it is that you're doing rather than being super focused on the horse the whole time. I've put up, as you can see here on the center line, 4 little gates that are made up of 2 white cones each. And each gate is about spaced apart 2 meters, 2 large steps, and then the little pairs of cones, those gates are about 10 to 12 to 15 meters apart, depending on, your comfort level on your horse. And I would say in the beginning, keep it rather smaller so that if you're riding serpentines through these gates, as I'm going to show you in a moment, that you will find that the horse really has to bend around your inside leg each time you're coming through, and that you're straightening as you come across the center line. And so that there's not like a lot of space and a lot of time for the horse to ever go and take a straight line and go into running mode, right? So you can familiarize yourself and the horse in the beginning on the long rein, riding around these serpentines through these little gates, and then you can pick up the reins and gradually, make little requests to your horse. For example, you can start in the walk and just go, okay, we're going to walk, and every time you come through the gate, maybe you'll take a few steps of sitting trot, on the straight line here, as I'm going to show you right now here, just a few steps, very, very unobtrusive, and right away back to walk. And if you can repeat that, I'm not going to show you that a lot of times here. But the goal would be obviously to have the horse be as relaxed as possible in the walk, and then just have a few steps of trot here, ideally without the horse raising his or her head. But anyway, so we're going to get started in just a posting trot. And I'm going to just set myself up here on these serpentines so you can see in terms of the space what we're doing and what we're navigating, coming around and being in a very sort of conservative, slow, measured posting trot. That's the important part, or the goal at least. And every time I come across the center line here, I'm going to switch my diagonal. I might forget that at times as I'm talking and doing everything. But this is sort of in general the outline. You're going to ride these nice little curved lines, and then you're going to come across the center line, straighten your horse, and then a nice little curved line again. If the horse is running, you might feel that it's helpful to step a little bit into the outside stirrup on the curved parts of these serpentines, just because it will help your horse's balance and it won't let her or him cut off or drift inward. And so here's where, this all looks pretty good right now. And then you're going to maybe alternate a little bit between posting trot and sitting trot. Maybe sit the trot as you come across the center line. And again, the diagonal, correct diagonal in the posting trot, not that important right now in this particular modality of riding. You're just going to go with the flow, sit a few steps, post a few steps, think rhythm, regularity of rhythm, relaxation, and as well of contact as you can manage with your horse. And as you can see, I'm going to start sitting a little bit longer. Perhaps I'm going to just sit on the half circles here. And then I'm just going to post a little bit when I come across the center line. Again, just to break it up a little bit and to keep yourself and your horse in this meditative state of just riding, and having small little variations be part of everything that you're doing, right? So you're just sitting a few steps, posting again, and I'm going to now start sitting. When I come across here, sit, a few steps walk, sit again, and then post again, right? And all these different things are meaningful to the horse because they interrupt their tendency of wanting to run right away again. So you feel like the more your horse wants to run, the more of these little different variations on the theme you're going to ride. And again, posting trot, sitting trot, a few steps of walk, a few steps of sitting trot, posting trot again, and then I might, when that goes well, I might just stay in sitting trot after a while. I'm not going to write too many repetitions of everything just so that you can see. Sitting trot, walk, sitting trot, right? So now you're going to allow the horse to stay in the sitting trot where you can really influence him or her in a very nice regular mode, but I can still feel there's a little bit of a running wish inside of Philly's head right now. It's a fresh morning, and if I would let her go, she would probably just go into just a less regular and much more fast-paced trot. And so I add one more thing, walk and halt. And the halt probably might not be square, walk and trot. In this kind of situation, as we're dealing and talking about a bit of a hot horse. So, but you do your best, halt, try and go walk forward, just trot again, sitting trot. Walk, breathe out, halt, and walk on again, and trot, and you can vary this. You can come to a halt out of the trot too, if that is something that you are comfortable doing with your horse already. Halt, and then back into the trot. So, you're just going to play with these elements, and if it goes well, you can just give a little bit of a break. But if it doesn't go so well, I'm going to give you one more piece here. Let's just say you don't feel that your horse wants to settle. Then you can add at the top of each of these half circles of the serpentines a little bit of a small circle before you keep going straight again across the center line. Right? This might be just a 10-meter circle. Then you're going to come around. And maybe here you're going to do your few steps of walk. And then trot again, sitting trot. 10-meter circle here. That might touch, the center line, inside shoulder back. The horse bends around your inside leg. And all of these bending and, curvy kind of exercises help the horse to understand their own balance with the rider on, right? And that is ultimately what will become interesting for the horse. Not just something to do that you're demanding to do, but interesting in terms of, this is how I can use my body. And actually after a while it actually feels quite good to the horse because all the different muscle groups are being activated and all the different, brain cells become used and activated and motivated to in the process, right? And then when it's time to maybe give it a break, you can either go into the walk or you can go into one more round of posting trot here, just to kind of round it up a little bit. and just to see if your horse can be a little bit more rhythmic than the way how you started out in the beginning. And then you're going to go and say, that's enough for today. Well done. Very good girl. Thank you, filly. And I hope this was helpful for you, just as an inspiration. Use these elements as they seem useful for you and your horse at any given stage of where you're at. And remember, rhythm, relaxation, and then the elastic contact will come. Use your seat, your leg aids, your weight aids, your hands very quiet. There's not a lot of, wiggling and coming and going happening. In the more early stages of the horses, keep your hands low and wide, like I have with filly. Later on, when your horse becomes more balanced, you can bring them up a little bit more. But all those things are details that have to do with your own riding process and the developmental stages that you're coming through as you're riding your horses. And, your horses usually will tell you what they need. So thanks for watching and happy riding. Thank you, Faye.